Sorry about that. Hello and welcome back to the KBB NR2003 series. Today we're here for race number 4 at Auto Club Speedway. So 40 drivers ready to take on this super long and wide racetrack. Should be a good one here tonight at Fontana. This track always produces great racing here in the Kelly Blue Book NR2003 series. So we'll get to your starting lineup here in just a moment. So we'll make our way down to trackside. So here we go. Rookies continue their pole streak as Scout Collins gets the pole. Right beside them is Wilson Hunt. Row number 2, your Daytona 500 winner, Trey Grooms, with Braden Cisco to his outside. Row number 3, Anthony Foss and Donovan David. Row number 4, Devin Gardner and Jake Scarborough. And rounding out your top 10 is Nick Scaccio and Nick Bingham. Row number 6, that's Dylan Thomas with Daniel Sells. Row 7, last week's winner Matthew Covington and Aaron Woods Jr. Row 8 is Dylan Cudruff with AJ Liddums. Row 9, Mike Pitt and Evan Nelson, 2 teammates right there. And rounding out your top 20 is Gabe Gazzola with Mark Sherrill. Row 11, we got David Garcia with Luna Bennington. Row 12 is Fox Oquin with Tyson Martin. Row 13 is Jack Nelson and Jonathan Maynard. Row 14, Justin Murray and Caleb Kerr. Back here in row 15 is Justin Rott and Andrew Francie. Row 16 is Rich Roy and Wolfgang Suarez. Row 17, Carlos Queiroz with Travis Van Oostendorp. Row 18, Simon Bingham with Julian Lozano. Row 19 is Brendan Gonzalez with Branson Grooms, and rounding out your field is Michael Scout and Andrew Cahill. So there's your starting lineup for tonight's race. So we'll wait a little bit here as I went too far, but you know, that's fine. I was going to do the track command, but here we go. So this should be an exciting race. This is the first race we are trying out with better cautions. So that we'll have double file restarts. The lap cars will go to the back, and it should be a good one. So here we go. It's going to be Scout Collins leading us to the green with Wilson Hunt following to their outside as they enter the restart zone. Green flag is out here at Fontana. Coming out of turn number 4, there are a few cars hit the wall, one of them being Braden Cisco in that 36, but it's going to be Scout Collins leading us right now. Look at this, 4 wide all the way back here, entering the corner, almost 5 wide as drivers are sliding up into each other. Braden Cisco is stuck on the wall as he just can't get off of it. Looks like he's off of it now, as Mark Sherrill had to get out of the gas to avoid him. But a lot of positions dropped for that number 36. As back up front, single file for the top 3, almost 4. Anthony Foss and Donovan David side by side for 4th. Devin Gardner right behind him. As you see Matthew Covington way down low, trying to gain as many positions as he can, looking to go back to back tonight. Down this long straightaway, car starting to kind of single file out, but there's still a few 3 wide battles as you see Dylan Cudruff going underneath Evan Nelson and Daniel Sells. Help from Nick Scaccio, but they're not going to have the advantage coming out of the corner. Evan Nelson's going to clear that 64. Now the 16 is going to go underneath the 64. Look at Matthew Covington going way low. Nick Bingham there underneath Jake Scarborough. Now Mike Pitt to follow. A side-by-side for second, or at least tried to. Trey Grooms trying to get underneath that 86. Grooms trying to become the first multi-time winner this season. The next closest winner is, I believe, Matthew Covington in that 75. who just won at Phoenix last week. I say last week, that wasn't a few weeks ago, but, you know. Scarborough kind of moves up, but here we go, battle for the race lead. Here comes Wilson Hunt to the inside. Donovan David also making his way up here. Both of these two rookies last season. Actually, this might be Wilson Hunt's third season, but David is trying to go for the race lead. Here he comes 3 wide underneath both the leaders. No help for the two on the inside. Scout Collins has help from Trey Grooms getting pushed around trying to. They're going to have the outside lane here in the corners. Trey Grooms almost looked 4 wide there, but decided to stay behind that 98. Donovan David currently has the advantage down the straightaway off of turn number 4. He's going to lead this lap. Actually, no, Scout Collins just beat him at the line. Dylan Thomas, Anthony Foss now up here in this battle. Donovan David's going to finally clear that 98. As Wilson Hunt is going to have to fall back to 4th. Dylan Thomas underneath Anthony Foss. Mike Pitt there behind. Actually, Mike Pitt did win at Vegas earlier this season, so that earlier comment was not right. As Anthony Foss looking underneath that 86. But doesn't have help down there, so he's going to lose position. So he's going to have to try once again. But Donovan David leads here on lap number 7. As the leaders are all kind of single file right now. Pit stops are going to happen between 15 to 18. So it's going to be interesting. It should be a 3-stop race if this goes green all the way. Up here, Mike Pitt trying to look underneath Dylan Thomas. Anthony Foss once again underneath Wilson Hunt. That inside lane just on the straightaway just does not seem to get going as well as they just train on that outside lane. As the top 3 are pulling away from the rest of this field now. As this longer run starts to continue. Sails to the inside of Nick Bingham. He had a strong run, or they had a strong run last week at Phoenix. Couldn't get the win, but I believe finished on the podium. As they might clear Nick Bingham here. It looks like they will. As Scarborough's into the wall. Looks like maybe a bump from Gabe Cazzola. As down the straightaway, Scout Collins looking back underneath Donovan David. David's going to clear for right now. But that 98 is going to have to make the move pretty quick on that 04 if they want to make the pass. Because if not, Trey Grooms will just pass him on the outside. It's coming to complete lap number 9, coming on to lap number 10. Donovan David leads. A one-time winner here in the Kelley Blue Book NR2003 series back at Pocono last season. Not the final race before the series shut down for a little while, but the first Pocono race of that season. Looking for career win number 2 tonight. And then you got Scout Collins, of course. They are a rookie. Haven't really had the best first three races. Maybe they could change around tonight after that pole. And then Trey Grooms, of course, he's got a few wins under his belt, including the Daytona 500 this season. Wilson Hunt, I forgot what race he won at, but I do believe he has a win. I could be wrong on that, but we'll see. And then, of course, Anthony Foss is a rookie. Dylan Thomas is a rookie. Mike Pitt won at Vegas earlier this season. Sells is a rookie. Devin Garner is also a rookie, and that's your... Actually, no, Nick Bingham's the last one of the top 10. He's also a rookie. So far, the rookies have gone 4 for 4 on poles, but they have not found victory lane yet. We have a few of them here in the top 10, including one running 2nd, one running 5th. Trey Grooms goes way wide this corner, had a bad entry. That's going to allow Wilson Hunt to maybe close in as he hits the wall. So here comes Wilson Hunt to the inside. Anthony Foss might be helping that 86 try to pass this 22 here. So you see Wilson Hunt trying to clear Trey Grooms, but he doesn't really have the run he needed. Foss still there behind that 86 to help. So he come down the back straightaway. The draft is just way too strong on that outside lane. Trey Grooms is going to hold on for now. But that's going to help the top two pull away a little bit. As Anthony Foss goes way up the racetrack. That's allowed Mike Pitt to get underneath Dylan Thomas. As Foss is into the wall, here comes Dylan Thomas to the inside, trying to get into that top 5 position. That 49 of Daniel Sells, he's got a huge run on these guys. As he now closes in on them. Dylan Thomas did make that pass work. So I move him up into the top 5. As Donovan David currently pulling away, but we're going to have pit stops here soon. Like I said, somewhere around 15 to 18 laps is usually when these cars were pitting in the test sessions. So Wilson Hunt's going to try once again on Trey Grooms here, but he doesn't really have the help this time as Anthony Foss currently in trouble. Here comes Mike Pitt to the inside, Devin Gardner to help. Sells to the back bumper of that 33 though. It's going to help him maybe not prevail yet as Devin Gardner now looking 3 wide underneath Mike Pitt. But he's going to have to back out as he doesn't have the run. Those older tires hurting that 44. Still going to try though down the straightaway, but Mike Pitt's going to hold on. Anthony Foss is going to clear. As here we go, pit stops coming up. It's going to be Donovan David leading them first. Trey Grooms, Wilson Hunt, they're all going to come in. Scout Collins going to stay out. Dylan Thomas as well, so here they come. As collisions on pit lane have been turned off so they cannot hit each other anymore. At least they should be. It looks like a few cars down pit road, maybe 12 to 15 of them. As we'll see how good the undercut is for these drivers. As we'll probably see the rest of the field come in this time. Scout Collins has a nice lead over Dylan Thomas. And has the first pit box, so we'll see if that's going to be an advantage for this 98. Yep, here comes the rest of the field coming in now. Nobody, actually it looks like a few cars elected to stay out there. I couldn't really tell who it was. It was Rich Roy in that 14 and Justin Murray in that 88. So here comes the first wave of cars out of pit lane now. Trey Grooms beat that 04 out, so he might hold on to the race lead once everything cycles here. Justin Murray, Rich Roy trying a different strategy here, trying to go long. They're right now the only two who have stayed out. It's everybody taking 4 tires and fuel on pit lane. I don't know if we've had green flag pit stops yet this season. Actually, I think we did, maybe at Vegas. So here comes Trey Grooms out of turn number 4. The leader coming out of pit lane right now. I think Trey Grooms, Donovan David, they're going to clear this 98 by a long shot. So there you see Trey Grooms passing right now. So it's going to be a 1-lap tire advantage for that 98 and the 12 and the rest of the field. It's going to be a lot to catch up to that 22 and 04. So you see Murray and Rich Roy there down pit lane. And right now, all of a sudden, it's just become a 2-car race. As Trey Grooms looking to pick up his 2nd win of the season. Donovan David looking to pick up his 2nd win of his career. As they're going to blow right past Justin Murray and Rich Roy. So now all these cars going back here, they're going to have to maybe draft with each other to try to catch those leaders. See, they're about 3 seconds behind them, so it's going to be hard to catch them. We'll see. And if this goes green all the way, it's going to be interesting to see that 88 and that 14 who stayed out later, if they can maybe do this on 2 more stops. I mean, I think everyone's going to have to pit maybe 2 more times. Maybe they can go stretch it out. Let's do it 1 more time, but we'll see. Mike Pitt will lead this pack. They're about 2.5 seconds behind. Them being side by side back here is not really helping their case to try to catch that lead pack. Evan Nelson has found himself up here now in 6th. He needs a good run tonight. Hasn't really been the best season for that 4. A guy who's been here almost every season. I believe he missed season 3. Didn't re-sign up. but he has been here since Season 1. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he won the first ever race here in the Kelley Blue Book Cup Series back in Season 1 at Daytona. I believe it was him. And then it was Jacob Malia for 2 races, and then Keelan Belsha at Phoenix. As here goes that 98, with just a lap fresher tires on Mike Pitt, trying to make the pass. Maybe they think they can lead this pack to catch up to those 2 leaders. As the gap is dropping, as they're losing a little bit of time back here compared to Trey Grooms and Donovan David, but David just kind of sitting behind that 22 right now. Collins going to pass Mike Pitt, though. We'll see if they can lead the charge up there. It's now Anthony Foss to the inside of Mike Pitt. It's 3 wide back here. Dylan Thomas underneath Wolfgang Suarez and Julian Lozano. It's that 99 after that pit cycle, having a good run now up here in the top 10. They didn't really close in that time either, but we'll see now that Scout Collins is leading this time, if they'll close into those leaders just a little bit. But these 2 are probably going to have to battle as Donovan David goes way up the racetrack. Almost into the wall. So we'll see if they gained a little bit that time. They did. A few tenths. So this 98 just had to get up to the lead, or lead this pack. Anthony Foss tried to just slide job Mike Pitt there. Did not really work. Pitt's going to hold on for right now. As Wilson Hunt, these 3 were 3 wide in that corner. Wilson Hunt will prevail. Wolfgang Suarez underneath Evan Nelson. As Wolfgang will clear that 4. Yeah, they are closing in on your 2 race leaders a few tenths at a time. As Collins trying to put the work in. Take a look through the rest of your field. Here's the side-by-side battle. This is for, looks like 16th. Now it's going to be for 17th between the 2 brothers of Nick and Simon Bingham. Simon Bingham had a strong run at Phoenix last week. I believe finished top 5. Looking for another strong run tonight. Currently in the just outside the top 15. It's up here. Luna Bennington looking underneath Mark Sherrill up here. Wilson Hunt tried to pass that 33. Wolfgang Suarez got around both of them. That 99 is on a charge right now. As the gap has closed in to about 2 seconds. Donovan David still trying to find a way around this 22, but Trey Grooms, honestly, that 22 has been very quick week in and week out. He might be, right now, he might be the one to watch for this championship. As he was pretty fast. Of course, he won the 500. He was pretty fast at Vegas before getting into a wreck. He was pretty fast at Phoenix, too. I believe finished somewhere in the top 10. And now leading away here at Fontana, another fast race car for that 22. Wolfgang Suarez has found his way into the top 5. A very fast 99 machine right now. I don't know what sort of adjustments they made under that pit stop, but it has just brought this 99 to life. As they're going to have to get around that 9 quickly. Scout Collins is pulling away from Mike Pitt, and that's the difference. 1 lap of pit stops can make. And you see that 98 pulling away from the 9, because Pitt pitted 1 lap earlier than that 98, I do believe. That makes me think, where is Justin Murray right now and Rich Roy? Here they are, just inside the top 20, but they're slowly making their way through the field. I just don't think that strategy is going to work unless they can make this on 1 more stop. I don't think they're going to be able to, but we'll see. Scout Collins is still catching these two, and now the rest of the field kind of closing in. They're going to have to quickly catch him before pit stops. Because I think the undercut's still going to be the big part here at the end of this, if it does go caution-free. Evan Nelson, Dylan Thomas side by side. This is for 8th. And now side by side right here, Wolfgang Suarez did not have a good corner. Anthony Foss to their inside. As Foss could not make that pass work, Wolfgang Suarez holds on into that top 5. Scout Collins didn't really gain a lot of time there. Mike Pitt did slowly close in on that 98 now that he doesn't have to play defense. As Donovan David trying to just run a different line to catch this 22, but it's not working. As Collins is almost in their draft, he might be, or they might be a little bit. As I do believe they are in the draft now, catching up to these leaders, as Aaron Woods has elected to pit already. He was already running in the back. I wonder what happened to them. I don't know if that was a scheduled green flag pit stop or if something happened. We're just closing in on halfway in this race, and it looks like it was scheduled green flag, as here that come the race leaders. Trey Grooms, Donovan David, they're going to pit first once again. Looks like only a selected few cars pitting. Oh, Michael Scout into the wall pretty hard. So is Nick Scaccio. All the way back here, basically running last. Aaron Woods, of course, with those fresh tires, passing these leaders to get back on the lead lap. Wolfgang Suarez underneath Mike Pitt for second. As it looks like Suarez is going to stay out an extra lap. Maybe not. It looks like he's going to come down pit road. Maybe not. But he's going to stay out an extra lap as we head to the halfway point. So that 99 going to pick up a lap lead here. As here comes basically the rest of this field. Andrew Francie, Rich Roy, Justin Murray, they're all staying out. Looks like Dylan Cutruff and Michael Scout also staying out. The rest of this field down pit road. Wolfgang Suarez leads. So we just passed halfway. Still one more pit stop left in this race. So we'll see whose strategy is going to work in the end. Suarez is going to pit this time. And he was up there with the race leader, so I don't think he's going to be too far back once they undercut him. So here comes the rest of this field. There you see Trey Grooms and Donovan David. They're coming out. Again, nose to tail. So we'll try to look for that 98. There they are. And Trey Grooms is just going to fly right around them once again. This is probably going to be a bigger lead for this 22 and 04. Donovan David, I believe, is going to need help. If he wants to make this pass on the 22, he's going to need someone on his back bumper because he just cannot figure a way around Trey Grooms right now. That 22 is just very quick. As I say that, here he comes to the inside. Donovan David going to try the inside. Trey Grooms is going to have the run off the corner, though, to hold on. We'll see if David maybe tries to send it into this corner. He is. Here comes Donovan David going to try to slide up in front of Trey Grooms. But Grooms is going to hold on for right now. Still side by side entering turn 3. What does Donovan David do here? Couldn't quite get the arc he wanted. Trey Grooms still to the outside. But Donovan David fighting back strong coming off the corner. He might have just made that pass work. Way to the inside trying to get as much track as he can. And he might have that 22 clear, so he did not need any help as he passes Trey Grooms all by himself. As he's going to take the race lead away from that 22. Michael Scout, we saw him in the wall earlier. Not a good season so far for this one team. I believe he is last in points, and right now running 40th. Probably just fix some wall damage. So third place is back to being 2.5 seconds behind. And it's that 54 who pitted a bit earlier than all these guys. So unless we get a caution, it's most likely going to be between these two for the race win. It's that 04, they made an adjustment. And that he's just come to life. I said he was struggling to pass Trey Grooms for the race lead that whole last run, but now out front and away with clean air. As Trey Grooms is slowly fading back behind him. Here comes that 98. Scout Collins, they're going to have to make this pass very quickly if they want to have a chance to catch up to that to the 2 leaders. Big send into the corner. But not going to be able to make the pass work. Quick look at the rest of the field. Evan Nelson currently the final car in the top 10, but he's got company behind AJ Littums and Daniel Sels. Right there, right behind him. Look at this big battle. There you see Scout Collins finally get around that 54. Mike Pitt tried to send it in, but it's going to lose a lot of time there. Dylan Thomas to the outside of Wolfgang Suarez. Remember, Wolfgang was one of the last ones to pit out of this pack. So we'll see how fast that 99 can get around these guys. It's to the inside of Dylan Thomas. Now looking to the inside of Anthony Foss, as Foss might have just gotten moved by that 12 there. As Wolfgang's going to pass both of them, and maybe Mike Pitt as well. And Wolfgang does pass all of them to get into the top 5. Now sets his sights on Julian Lozano. Which, what a strategy by this 54. Was nowhere to be seen, and now up here all of a sudden in the top 5. Looking to have a nice run tonight. He started way in the back, I believe 36th. And I guess the pit strategy helped him get up here, but Wolfgang Suarez is just going to easily blow right past him to get up to 4th. So they caught a little bit on the leaders that time by. Trey Grooms is losing time to Donovan David, as that 04 is just currently pulling away. They are catching the lap car of Michael Scout. So we'll see how that plays out. Not much really going on through the field. Everybody just kind of battling their own battles right now. Estell's going to get around Littums. And now here comes Bingham to the outside of that 61 as well. Daniel Sells looking for another top 10. Finished, I believe, top 5 last week at Phoenix. And has to pass this 4 card to get into the top 10 tonight. Can I do it there? As they're all kind of side by side. Wolfgang Suarez got around that 98. That 99 is going to be the fastest car in this pack to close in on those 2 leaders. But they're running out of time before next pit cycle happens. So we'll take a look at your fastest lap. It actually goes to the 68 of Caleb Kerr. He's currently just back here and like almost last. 35th. Branson Grooms has the 2nd fastest. Justin Rott, who's also back here, 3rd fastest. Rich Roy has the 4th fastest. And Travis Van Oostendorp has the 5th fastest. But yeah, that seems like a trend with most of the guys in the back kind of having the fastest laps tonight. We'll get back to the leaderboard here. No DNFs, no nothing. So surprisingly, a clean race tonight. As Wolfgang Suarez, a big chunk there in the gap between him and the leaders. He's now 2.5 seconds behind. And I believe he's got maybe around 8 more laps before, maybe 5 to 8 more laps before they come down and do their cycle again. Another huge chunk that time by. This 99 is flying. Remember, he pitted 2 laps after Trey Grooms and Donovan David. Meanwhile, these guys behind him pitted at least one lap after, so he is closing in on these leaders very quickly. It's just going to be who's going to have the better strategy here at the end. As we'll see, he's definitely going to catch up and maybe at least battle the leaders before they pit. He might even just blow right past them. As I believe he's less than a second behind Trey Grooms, almost less than a second behind Donovan David. As this 99 is flying right now. And that's helping the 98 of Scout Collins. Although they are losing time to the 99, they are closing in on the 22 and 04. As Wolfgang's going to be on that bumper of the 22 here. And might be able to pass Trey Grooms here on this lap. As that 99 is flying with about 17 laps to go. Wolfgang on the back bumper of Trey Grooms. Looking maybe to the inside now. A big run off the corner. He's going to settle in behind for right now. If I can get a right camera angle. We'll see if maybe he dives low here. Nope, going to stay behind Trey Grooms. Maybe push him back up to Donovan David. Now here he comes down low. Trying to take second away. Wolfgang Suarez. Trying to become the first rookie to win this season. As he makes the pass on Trey Grooms for second. Aaron Woods just came out of pit lane, so that's going to probably trigger green flag pit stops. As we'll see what strategy Wolfgang Suarez pulls here. As the leaders are going to stay out one more lap, they're going to try to run it long. Wolfgang Suarez all over the back of that 04. Got tight up the racetrack. I think he got a little bit loose, actually. Scout Collins passes Trey Grooms for third. That helped that 04 a lot there. Wolfgang getting loose on the back bumper of Donovan David. As Collins going to pass that 22. Here comes Dylan Thomas to the inside as well. As Wolfgang going to try one more time here in 3 and 4. We'll see if Donovan David comes down pit lane, and it looks like he will. Scout Collins also going to follow. Wolfgang Suarez and Trey Grooms, they're going to stay out. Dylan Thomas to follow as well. Collins, nice run to the inside of that 04. I think they might have just overtook that 04, and they did. I don't know if Donovan David got loose on that seam or on the apron, but lost the position to Scout Collins. That's huge for that 98. There's a lot of cars down pit lane. This should be the final stop tonight. As we'll see how big of an advantage. Oh, where did that 22 go? Oh, they pitted. I didn't even realize they pitted. My bad. I thought they were going to stay out there, but I guess not. Late decision for Trey Grooms. So it's really just Wolfgang Suarez who stayed out of leaders, and now here he comes, coming to 14 laps to go. I believe Lozano already pitted, same for Anthony Foss. So here comes all the leaders coming out of pit lane. Scout Collins going to hold on over that 04. Lozano trying that undercut. Here he comes to the outside of Donovan David and Scout Collins. Let's see if he can take the race lead away here. And it looks like he's going to be able to. So another early pit stop for this 54. It's going to help him. Now, where's that 99? Here's Wolfgang Suarez. Here comes the leaders out of turn 4. I don't know if this is going to be good for this 99. If he's going to have enough time to close back in, especially with only one lap of fresher tires. As here comes Lozano. Everybody's going to pass him. It's going to be hard for this 99 to catch back up to the race leaders. Anthony Foss, I think he pitted a lap earlier than these guys as well. I think he pitted at the same time that 54 did. So now, all of a sudden, Julian Lozano is your race leader. Coming to 13 laps to go. Side by side back here for, I believe this will be for 4th. And actually, Wolfgang Suarez is not too far behind. Trey Grooms lost a lot of time that pit stop. All the way back here now. He's going to be out of contention to win. These guys are slowly closing in on Lozano. Donovan David has been one of the faster cars tonight. Same for this 98 who was on the pole. Looking to the inside for the race lead. Here comes Scout Collins. 12 laps of racing to go. Collins is going to have to make this pass very quickly. They're going to send it to the inside. Are they going to be able to clear that 54 of Lozano? They will. Scout Collins to the race lead. No, Lozano still to the outside. Looking. Donovan David went low, though, to help that 98 past his 54. As Julian Lozano still holding on, but it's not going to be for long. As Dylan Thomas looking 3 wide underneath. Wolfgang Suarez thought about 4 wide. Here comes Suarez to the inside. 4 wide for second with 11 laps to go. Lozano got into the wall there coming out of turn number 4. Wolfgang Suarez with a send into the corner. He's going to take second away. I don't think that's what that 98 wanted to see. Wolfgang Suarez on 1 lap fresher tires, but we've seen it be faster all day long. We'll see if he can get up there to the race lead. They're all still trying to pass Julian Lozano. Anthony Foss tight up into that 54's door. As Lozano hits the wall just a tad bit. Mike Pitt slowly making his way back into this pack. As here comes Wolfgang Suarez with 10 laps to go. Underneath Scout Collins. He's going to sit it into the corner and clear easily on that 98. Wolfgang Suarez, the freshest tires out of this bunch, and he is pulling away from the field. Side by side for third, Dylan Thomas trying to pass that 04 of Donovan David. David trying to hold on as he's going to have the run down the straightaway. Lozano all over the back bumper of Anthony Foss. Mike Pitt slowly making his way through this field. Maybe going to try to challenge for a top 10, but that 99 is scooting away from the rest of this field. Mike Pitt on the back bumper of Julian Lozano as that 54 slowly fading. Just going to try to hold on for whatever position he can get. Back here, Luna Biddington, Mark Sherrill side by side. That is for 13th. A few Caterpillar cars there. Back up front, Mike Pitt looking underneath that 54, trying to pass him for 6th. Going to try to get up there into the top 5 if he can pass Anthony Foss. Dylan Thomas all over the back bumper of Donovan David. I don't know what adjustments they made on that 04, but it definitely did not work. As Wolfgang Suarez has about a half a second lead over these guys. Dylan Thomas back underneath. He might have just shoved that 04 out of the way, trying to make the pass work for that podium spot. All by himself on the inside lane, though. He's going to have to send it hard into turns 1 if he wants to pass that 04. And that's exactly what he's going to do. And he's going to be clear. Maybe going to try to shove that 04 up the track. And Dylan Thomas is going to pass for 3rd. Nice move by that rookie. And now it's just an all-rookie podium here tonight. And it looks like for the first time this season, we're going to have a rookie winning a race. So right now, all eyes on that 99 of Wolfgang Suarez coming to 6 laps to go. Few lap cars ahead. I don't know if they're going to catch them in time. That's Aaron Woods Jr. and Michael Scout. Matthew Covington, after winning last week, not having a good race. Currently, I believe, in 36th, 38th. So it looks like it was 1 week of good luck for that 75, and now back to reality. Here comes Dylan Thomas all over the backbone for that 98. Collins is just playing defense at this point as they come to 5 laps to go. Wolfgang Suarez leads. Scott Collins second, but maybe not for long. Dylan Thomas to the inside, heading into turn number 1. Wasn't able to make the pass work. That's going to allow that 98 to retake second and maybe allow Donovan David to get back to the outside of Dylan Thomas here. As Donovan David looking back to the outside, Dylan Thomas going to try to clear that 04. He could not. As Mike Pitt looking underneath Anthony Foss to get into that top 5. We got 4 laps to go this time by. Foss still holding on. Dylan Thomas going to send it into the corner to take third back. As Suarez continues to pull away from the rest of the field. We'll see what Donovan David does here all over the back bumper of that 12. Mike Pitt looking way high, trying to get a run on that 33 to get into the top 5. Donovan David looking low underneath Dylan Thomas for third. Not going to be able to make that pass work. It's back here. This is for 9th. Andrew Francie, who I believe started kind of in the back, having a nice run here late. How about Simon Bingham in that 92 having another top 10 day? As Trey Grooms, who had that terrible pit stop, he's going to have to just settle for either 9th or 8th, maybe 10th, but somewhere in that top 10. It looks like that 78 of Aaron Woods Jr., he's going to come down pit lane. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know what happens. I think actually he just came out of pit lane, so that might be something to look at. As Mike Pitt, here he comes to the inside of Anthony Foss, coming to 2 laps to go. Trying to get into that top 5. Lozano kind of fading back into the clutches of that second pack as Mike Pitt's going to clear Anthony Foss. Move that 9 car into the top 5, and yeah, that 54 is going to fall into the clutches of all of these guys. Maybe fall out of the top 10. AJ Liddum's back there in 11th, closing on that pack. But all eyes on the 99 of Wolfgang Suarez. He's going to see the white flag this time by 1 lap to go here at Fontana for this 99 team. What a strong run. And what a good strategy, pitting later than everybody else. As Aaron Wood's going to get to his back bumper with those fresher tires. Probably just going to go around him here, but down the back straightaway for the final time. A 1.5-second lead over second place right now. And Wolfgang Suarez, as he heads through 3 and 4, he's going to be the first rookie to win this season in the Kelley Blue Book Cup Series. Out of turn number 4, Wolfgang Suarez picks up his first career win here at Fontana Speedway. As I believe Lozano had to pit. I don't see him anywhere. He must have ran out of fuel. Yep, there he is. Tough break for that 54. But the 99 is going to pick up the win. Collins second, Thomas third, David fourth, and Pitt fifth. As how about AJ Liddum's getting into that top 10 at the end, passing Trey Grooms as well. Let me save these results real quick. Actually, the race is still going on. That 54 needs to pass. Come on, Julian, before a sudden game crash. And there we go. Maybe. Not sure why it's not letting me export. Maybe I gotta do this. Why can't I export? So I gotta go to standings. There we go. Okay. I'm an idiot. That was my fault. Alright, so we're gonna save before any game crashes, but we'll take a look at the finishing results. Wolfgang Suarez pick up the first win, his first win of the season. I know, I'm an idiot, don't worry. Wolfgang Suarez picks up the first win of the season and the first rookie to win this season. here in Season 5. Scott Collins, a strong run, finishes second. Dylan Thomas, another strong run, finishes third. Donovan David fourth. Mike Pitt fifth. Anthony Foss sixth. Simon Bingham, another strong run for that 92, finishes seventh. And Andrew Francie needed this run tonight. He finishes eighth. How about AJ Liddums getting into the top 10 there? He finishes ninth. And Trey Grooms, another fast car, unfortunately fell back there at the end, but he finishes 10th. Rich Roy, 11th. Mark Sherrill, 12th. Travis Van Oostendorp, 13th. Evan Nelson, 14th. Luna Bennington, 15th. Jack Nelson, 16th. Andrew Cahill, 17th after starting last. Brendan Gonzalez, 18th. Daniel Sells, 19th. Rounding out your top 20 is Nick Bingham. Justin Murray, 21st. Braden Cisco, 22nd. Devin Garner, 23rd. Branson Grooms, 24th. Jonathan Maynard, 25th. Carlos Queiroz, 26th. Dallin Cutruff, 27th. Baker Mayfield, 28th. 29th, Justin Rott. Caleb Kerr rounds out your top 30. Jake Scarborough, 31st. 32nd, Nick Scaccio. 33rd, Gabe Garcia. 34th, Fox Ogwin. 35th, Gabe Cazzola. 36th, Wilson Hunt. 37th, Matthew Covington. 38th, Michael Scout. 39th, Jolene Lozano, who was running up there in the top 10. I had to pit there at the end. And Aaron Woods Jr. rounds out your field. The only car one lap down in 40th. Give me 1 second. So I don't really have an end of stream button, and I know if I click end stream on Streamlabs and close out of NR2003, it's going to crash. So I guess you guys get to be here while I take pictures, which there's really no pictures to be taken care of. We'll just take one of Wolfgang Suarez real quick. Next week I will have a hotkey for the end stream button. We'll take this picture real quick so my game doesn't crash, because I know if I click off and tab out of NR, it's going to crash. So just to be safe and sorry, I'm going to do this while still live, so you guys get to see the process, I guess. I got to Control E. There we go. Free cam on NR was probably one of the best things I ever found, because this is awesome. Since there's really no cautions this race, not really many highlights going to be on the Instagram, but we can get Wolfgang crossing the line here for his win. A little bit of a zoom. Back out a little bit. How do I rotate? I forgot. I think it's one of these, but there we go. We'll rotate this way. Yeah, I don't really know if there are very many highlights for the race tonight. We'll do this, there we go. And so that's going to do it. Like I said, I'm going to try to be consistent with this series. Sorry, it's not been consistent at all. I've just been super busy these past few months. But I'm going to try to be consistent, try to get this season done, and then figure out where I'm going for there. But yeah, I want to thank you all for tuning into this race tonight. Again, just checking to see if I exported. Yep, race 4. Thank you all for tuning into tonight's race. Next week will be... maybe. If I can find the schedule here. Here we go. Next week will be Dover. Oh boy. I'm pretty sure we will be able to use better cautions at that event. So again, I want to thank you all for coming out here and tuning into tonight's race. Congrats to Wolfgang Suarez picking up his first career win. Just take a look at the results one more time here. And I'll see you guys next time at Dover.